I've been studying Korean on and off for a while now, and it got to a point where I could read things, I could understand things, but when it came time to actually talk, my brain would just buffer. I know the grammar, I've done the lessons, but in the moment, nothing comes out the way that I practiced it. So I rebuilt how I study from scratch. And this new structure is honestly the first thing that I've tried in a while that's made me faster at recovering mid-conversation. Not perfect, faster. That's the metric. Here's what I was doing before. I'd sit down, do a grammar lesson, do the workbook exercises, feel productive, and then close the book. And I do that 5-6 days a week. I was studying a lot, but I wasn't speaking a lot. And those are two completely different skills. The input was there, the output wasn't. So I stopped asking, how much did I study today? And started asking, could I say what I needed to say? So here's the weekly structure I'm using right now for July and August. Every day has one job and everything feeds into speaking by the end of the week. Monday is one new grammar lesson. Tuesday, I speak on a theme. Wednesday is listening and shadowing. Thursday, I expand on what I was talking about Tuesday. Friday is a full conversation simulation. And weekends are light. Anki, passive listening, no real heavy studying. Monday is one new lesson from howtostudykorean.com. One. That's a rule. I read it, take notes, do the workbook and dictation exercises, but the thing that changed everything is I ask myself one question after every lesson. How does this help me talk about my life this week? If something isn't clicking, then I'll just pull up Talk to Me in Korean as a second angle on the same grammar point. Not a replacement, just a different explanation. Tuesday is the big one. I start with grammar workbook exercises from Talk to Me in Korean level 3 just to get the written production going. Then I record myself speaking on a topic, no notes, just talking. Then I listen back, and this is where it gets real. I make 3 columns: what I wanted to say, what I actually said, and the Korean that I was missing. That gap list is the whole point. Then I re-record using the gap list as a reference. I don't write out full sentences first, I just speak from the notes. And then I note any new gaps from the re-record. Wednesday is listening and shadowing. I'm just gonna pop up a few of my favorite beginner YouTube podcasters that I like to listen to. And I like to watch visual podcasts because it helps me to learn what I'm listening to using the context of visuals along with what the person is saying. I do 3 rounds. I listen with the transcript, then I shadow, matching the speed, the rhythm, intonation, not just speaking, but matching. Thursday, I take Tuesday's topic and I push it just a little bit further. I come up with my own follow-up questions, what happened next, and I answer them without prepping. And whenever I stall, I just use trusty Papago to fill in any of the gaps. I have recently ordered 1100 short and useful Korean phrases because it's come highly recommended. So I will be using that in the future to help fill some of the gaps that I have. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to keep going. Friday is game day. I either read a short passage from Short Easy Korean Stories for Beginners or Easy Reading for Korean Beginners. Then I review this past week's topic with no notes. Then I do a follow-up question drill. Then the part that I love and hate, random unprepared questions where I practice stalling phrases like 잘 모르겠지만, just buying time while my brain catches up. And then listening response drills. I pause the audio after a question and try to answer before the speaker does. A few rules that I set for myself to keep this whole thing from falling apart. Number 1, we are only doing one How to Study Korean lesson per week. Just one. This is a non-negotiable for me because I used to rush through these lessons just for the satisfaction of saying I finished a lesson, and none of them were sticking. 2, a lesson only counts if I can use it in 2 to 3 spoken sentences and answer follow-up questions about it. If I can't do that, then I haven't learned it yet. 3, daily speaking minimum, even on low energy days when I don't feel like it, even if it's just 30 seconds of talking to myself in Korean. And remember, the metric is not hours studied. It's effort, speed of recovery mid-conversation, and what I'm actually understanding at the end of every week. This structure is specifically for where I am right now, which is upper beginner, lower intermediate-ish. Speaking focused and trying to close the gap between what I know and what I can actually say under pressure. If you're at a different level, then your version of this might look a little bit different than what I'm doing, but the principle is still the same. Stop measuring how much you studied and start measuring how much you know, how well you spoke. If you try any of these tips that I just gave you, let me know. I want to see how we're growing together. And of course, I'll update you on my progress too.